Hey, where am I at? I've been here before, so you can find out. This box was mailed to me in November of 2016. Maybe you can see that. So nearly 4 years ago. I don't know what's in it specifically. I can imagine a few things that might be in it, and I'm more curious these days than I've ever been. One point of this production is to eventually, when enough people view this video, open this box and reveal the mystery contents in a follow-up clip. Probably I'll include something of substance like this one has, this video. When Google Analytics says 25 of you have viewed this YouTube video you're looking at on YouTube or my website or Facebook, I can finally open this box. This weird elaborate dance is because, although I'm mostly rational, I have a few superstitions. I'm an ex-sailor, so maybe some of that stuck. I feel I have an obligation to fulfill before I open this mystery box. I made a promise I've broken twice. Both times, when I tried to fulfill it in the usual way, circumstances intervened. The first time, they were altogether unforeseen. It's a weird human relations story I'll relate at the end about how I started running a version of this business, then had to shut down for a while. Consequently, I've acquired an irrational superstitious belief. I think if I tried again to do what I said I'd do, even though my promise is likely forgotten or forgiven, similar circumstances might magically intervene again, also unforeseen. That would be 3, and I don't intend to strike out. So, I intend to fulfill the spirit of that obligation in a better, more comprehensive manner by making this informational video. My context should all make sense when I tell you that story and show you most of the label on Jim's mystery box at the end. But first, here's the substance. It's a heads up about a local college and/or university-based continuing education program that is now available to nearly every person in America. You've probably heard about it, but possibly didn't look into it because you didn't realize its potential. The program is so extremely low cost, mostly funded by people and businesses in your community, that you can use it for free. Of course, you can also voluntarily help fund it, if you're using it. There's several ways to access this virtual education program. That means it's already tailor-made for the COVID era, in which sharing classrooms may be unwise. Furthermore, it's all audio, like taking classes through Audible would be. Unlike what your kids might be home doing right now in front of a screen, you can enhance your knowledge about the real world while working or doing projects around the house or even driving. There's several ways to access this program, partly depending on whether you prefer a comprehensive generalized set of courses or prefer to specialize and pick specific subjects and classes to listen in on, or do both depending on your schedule. There's a variety of subjects like science, domestic and international, ancient and recent history, economic and monetary theory, art, political theory, meteorology, astrophysics, literally rocket science. These all are subjects I've learned about within the past few months. Literally thousands are available. They are well-presented courses, almost always with tie-ins to current events. This is not a bunch of dry academic classes you might associate with your college days. More often than not, you can hear interviews with the best informed experts like Nobel Prize winners, writers of fact and fiction, all kinds of people. You can get tips on good books to read, and if you don't have time to read a lot of books, some programs interview the authors, and in 30 or 40 minutes you know a lot of the important stuff in the book without having to read it. All this, as I've said, at a cost ranging from free to whatever you can contribute. The easiest way to access the comprehensive general purpose education program is to tune your radio to your local NPR station. You'll get everything I've just described and a lot more just by listening to your radio. Not everybody seems to know this, but if you have a smartphone, there's FM radio circuitry in it. You have to use earbuds or headphones because that's the aerial antenna here. You can't find an FM tuner among your phone apps. Could be it's not always preloaded. There are dozens in app stores. The NPR One app is, in my opinion, the best of several ways to access the more specialized education I've described. Most, but not all, of the audio podcasts there are also radio programs available through an NPR station. You probably understand already that there are many more available through the public radio affiliate networks. I love education networks, obviously, which includes the BBC, of course, than could possibly be broadcast in a scheduled week. It's all available through the NPR One app. I wrote an ode to the Beeb, by the way. It's on my website. It's my impression that a lot of those podcasts, maybe Mother Jones for example, are not broadcast on radio at all. Certainly I listen to programs, classes, as I deliberately reframed it for you, that I can't hear on KBSX. There's a local music station I listen to sometimes. If you're in Idaho, you might get this because I'll just call this station Robert. I like Robert sometimes and his very cool brother in the area, which plays music to my demographic, by which I mean I enjoy hearing tunes I remember from being in high school, which I'd forgotten. Anyway, Robert likes to boast that he plays everything. Really? Everything? It's impossible for a radio station to play all styles of music, of course. Robert means he plays a selection of the popular music many other pop stations play. Not the same, of course. But I can hear jazz, good music from popular musicians that's never played by Robert, folk music, local music, indigenous, Celtic, religious, R&B, classical, and a lot of other music, with 2 stations. I listen to my NPR news station late at night, where the Beeb does a good job playing music Robert's unaware exists, and public radio news stations almost always have another, also college or university-sponsored music station. Most people think of KBSU in my area as a classical station because it plays that during business hours. Evenings, nights, weekends, you'll hear a lot of other stuff too that might be surprisingly enjoyable. Some of the best programs are locally produced. I do give credit where it's due, however, because Robert does have one thing that public radio doesn't. He has commercials. Public radio has corporate sponsors and members, which I have been in the past. Which brings us to my superstitions. I've been a local member off and on of public radio in the past. Back in 2016, around the time I got this box from Boise State Public Radio, I was starting a version of the business I'm working now. I had lots of reasons to believe it would succeed because I had both energy and a business partner, an environmentalist, who I thought would add to my energy and long-planned efforts. Unfortunately, my partner wanted to control every detailed aspect of what I thought of as my baby, nurtured in my head for several years. She seemed to disagree with everything I'd already considered ahead of time and needed to revise everything. Trust me, there's a point to this. It only took a few weeks into that partnership for me to realize the business wouldn't be mine in any discernible sense, so I gave the network aspect of it up. One other function of the partnership and the business, nothing I'm doing anymore, also proved to be problematic. Halfway into a contract labor gig, she decided, for reasons still unclear to me, to refund half of what we charged. I didn't let her. Needless to say, that partnership eventually dissolved, and I'll never do that again. But my point is, I became a sponsoring member of BSU Radio in a very affordable way, but couldn't make payments on a business that didn't thrive as it should have. The second time, I just became an individual member, but my enterprise is taking much longer than I believed, and once again, I had to drop paying for my membership. Public radio can always appreciate new members, but they have regular membership drives in which sometimes they offer to mail new members something for contributing. That's how I got the mystery box. I don't deserve to use whatever is in it until I do something in return for it. Watch this video, please. Share it widely, please. And contribute if you can, please. And here's the wrap up. Listen and learn from the public radio resource and Jim McGill, because herein is a lesson, simple and true. Before you get into a business partnership, or any kind of partnership for that matter, you'll be a lot richer and happier if you know who you're getting into business with. If you do that, you know what else you might have? Peace.